we've got ourselves a pretty pristine 2004, I think it was, Corvette here. The customer concern is one door will lock and the other door will unlock, but they both won't do both. So it's pretty interesting. So right now you can see this is locked or unlocked. So if we lock this one, okay, and we hit the key fob here to unlock, alright, but if we hit lock, it doesn't do anything. But this one, if we unlock it and hit lock, it locks, but it won't unlock. So yeah, the customer, the owner, has already replaced the door lock actuator in this door, and it didn't fix the problem. So they brought it to the shop, and the shop kind of looked at it a little bit, and he's like, just call Jake. So we are here to figure out what's going on with these door locks. Alright, so we're just going to be using the AutoDiag today, and sorry about the glare, the sun is like right there, yeah, so sorry about this. I don't know how to do screen recording on this yet. It might not have that ability yet, I don't know. So we're just going to, it did auto ID the VIN, and we're just going to do a full scan here, check it for codes. I don't know if they might have had some of this stuff unplugged. I really don't know. So we might have some codes, but this does have a door module in both doors. So both doors have one of these. So we're scanning, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, so it finished the scan. We do have a few codes in here. So it did take it probably a little over a minute to scan. We had 9 modules that it pulled, but this is an older all class 2. There's very little CAN bus in this car. Most of us go over low speed class 2, so some scan tools just take a little bit on that, so not really faulting it for that. But let's see, let's check out the report. Okay, so mileage right here. Let's change this to miles, and believe it or not, this thing has, go away, 27,752 miles. So low mileage on this sucker. I said it was pristine. It's pretty nice, other than this, like. But whatever. 27752. And I'm really not caring about putting all that other info in there. I just gonna confirm. Oh, I did notice that you can add pictures to this. So like if you had pictures of the car, you can add 4 to this report. So LostCom with a convention control system. This is history. Door module stuff. I don't really understand what them codes are. Lost comm with BCM. But this is all history. History. This might be from them I'm changing out the cylinder. This other stuff I'm not real sure about. But everything is history. So let's save the report. And now that it's saved, we can share this as a, we're going to do PDF and email. Alright, let's just clear all this stuff because they were all history. I just want to do a key cycle, try to work everything and see if it comes back. So it looks like the codes are clearing. I mean, they were history, so they should. So let's just key cycle this thing, give it a crank. And I had the door still kind of cracked open, so that's why we had that door jar message, and we get some TPS codes there. Don't really care about those. So, yeah. Let's see, does our doors lock and unlock now? So, nope, that didn't lock. Will it unlock? It does unlock, but no lock still. So, whatever our issue is, it's definitely a hard fall. Let's look at the codes again in this left module and see if there's anything that reset. No codes. So, alright, let's get to testing this thing and see what's actually going on with it. Alright, so let's go into some live data here. We're going to look at outputs. I just want to see if the module is actually commanding this door lock motor both directions. So let's just graph these here, and I'm just going to press the button on the door switch. So yeah, okay, so the module is trying to lock and unlock it. I can actually hear the relay down here when I press the unlock and lock, but you see this doesn't move. Okay, I'm locked, so it won't lock. It will unlock, but it won't lock. But I can hear this down here. Let me show you. You put this down here where maybe it'll pick it up. Put that there. Let's see. So hopefully you can hear that relay inside of this clicking. It does have relays in here, and it is clicking. So we need to check, make sure we're getting power out over here to the actual latch, because the door lock is inside here. Let's see, right here, this white box. Come on, it's not going to focus because yeah, can't get you in here good enough, but this white box is the door lock, and this is the connector for it. Oop. So let's get a test light in this thing and see if we're actually getting power out to this thing or not. Alright, so I'm just back probed into the connector here. So let's lock this, because this side will unlock. Okay, seeing it light up. Now if we hit the lock button, we get nothing, but unlock works. So we're not getting any power to it when we try to lock. Okay. So this is a simple 2-wire coming from the module. So if we had a wire issue from here to the module, neither lock nor unlock will work, because basically all that's happening here is the module is sending 12 volt and ground one direction to lock it, and then it's reversing that polarity and sending it to unlock it. So the way it's working is the module itself has 2 relays inside of it, basically to where one connection, if you're familiar with a standard like Bosch 5-pin relay, your terminal 30 is going to be your outputs to this, and then your input, or what you're switching, will be 87 and 87A. So the way it works is 87A is normally closed, so that's usually rest at ground, and then 87 is power. So when it turns one of these relays on, it is sending power through 87 through the lock actuator, and then back through 87A to ground. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And I do have a diagram pulled up, I think, of this circuit. Let's see. Yeah. So I'll kind of share this a little bit on you see that door lock motor, how the inside shows just a switch that goes from door lock like ground to 12 volts. So hopefully that makes sense. So what I can tell just from the way this is working right here is this module, when it switches that relay on, is not actually sending power out. So we can check our powers and grounds to this module, but I feel like it's going to be something internal wrong with this thing, like a bad relay, or if we're lucky, maybe some bad solder joints or something like that. Alright, so this module is actually responsible for doing a lot of other stuff, like it controls the power mirror, the power window in here. So this thing does a lot. And on our diagram here, we've got 2 power feeds here and then just 1 ground. So we can see C1 and C3, that's our powers, pin 1 and pin A. So if you're looking at this, we've got 1, 2, and 3, I believe. I know we're gonna have to have pretty heavy power coming in for the window motor, so I'm gonna assume that this orange one, because it does say it's orange, you see orange is for both of them, and then black is our ground. So we've got, if this one is 2, we've got a black there. So let's just see if this orange to that black has power. So we're just going to use our little test light here. And I'm pretty sure we're going to, yep. So we got power, which I wasn't too concerned because I already checked the motor, the window motor. Everything is working. It does say C3, but if this is 3, it doesn't have an orange in it, but this one has an orange right here, and it lights up. So I don't think we've got an issue with powers or grounds to this module. I could load them a little more, but it doesn't make sense. The unlock works, or is this one? Yeah, the unlock works on this one, but the lock doesn't work. So if I was having a power or ground issue, I would probably not have either direction working. And since it's got a common ground, I know it's not bad because the window will roll up and down. So I got the key on, so I just, so yeah. So we don't have a power issue. So looking like something's wrong with this module here. Let's get this thing off, get it opened up, and see if we can find out what's wrong. We can trace our pins from the lock back here to see what pins they are on here, and see if we can check this board and figure out what's going on with it. Alright, I got a little bit too much stuff going on here to be able to hold you guys, so hopefully I'll be able to zoom you in here. But I got my meter here, got the board out of the case, and as you can see, we've got 4 relays here. 2 of them are going to be for the window, and 2 of them are going to be for the lock. And from my diagram, I know my lock is this tan wire right here, and this gray wire right here. And of course I've got my main ground and my main power. And just looking at the board, I can see this orange one, it comes into the top of the board right here. And as you see on the meter, we got 12 volts there. So the top plane of my board is probably going to be my constant power. So like if I check right here, See, I've still got 12 volts there. And let me get my meter back in here. And if I flip the board over to the bottom side, my black wire, which is my ground, is right here. So I can see that the ground plane is basically all of this through here. All right. So I can easily kind of trace my power and my ground feed a little bit. My power is under all the relays, so it's a little harder to see, but it doesn't really matter. What I want to do now is trace my lock and unlock, and from my diagram, I know that this door will unlock, okay? So if I lock it here and hit unlock, it will unlock. So my issue is on the lock circuit. And from the diagram, let me double check, I'm pretty sure it's the tan wire. Yep, the tan wire. And I'll post some pictures of this diagram for you guys to be able to follow along a little bit. So if I'm in my ground side here, I know that I need power switched on for my lock to work. So if I go to this pin in the ground, the meter here will twitch 12 volts when I hit unlock, because right now I'm on the gray unlock wire. Let me get my probe in here a little bit better. I should probably just be using a back probe, or a Pierce probe. Yeah, let me go grab a Pierce probe real fast. Make this a lot easier to do. Got me a Pierce probe on here so I can hold this a little better. But if I hit the unlock, let's see, lock. Lock is actually my gray wire. No? Let's see. Yep, tan. Tan is my unlock. We can unlock. So you've seen the meter twitch here. Alright. My lock side, I can see in the meter just a tiny little flitch. But we're not getting 12 volts out of that thing. So I kind of want to use a scope now, because I want to see just how much voltage that thing is actually getting there. But either way, we can keep going like this. I need to trace this gray wire, all right, on the board. We are here, and we know we're in this plane, basically, and it comes over to right there. So if I hit the lock button, I get that same little twitch. So I need to know, is the relay got power to it? Well, I know it's got ground. This is my ground terminal here. And this is power, constant power. Let's see, make sure it's not switched. Nope. So this is going to be my power to that relay. Oh, actually, that's going to be to that one. This one right here, is this it? Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so this terminal right here is actually my power, because it's this relay that we're concerned about. One on the very end here. And let's see, this one, we need to get our control wires, make sure we have control, which I hear it clicking. So that's constant power. And there's our control right there. So just mapping out this relay, I'm going to say this pin and this pin is probably going to be my coil. And then this is my ground, which is going to be like 87A. And this is my constant power, which is going to be 87. And then my output, which is 30 on your typical relays. So this relay is just bad. And I'm willing to bet the other side is probably the same thing, but going to be the lock relay. Well, no, the unlock. It will lock. It will not unlock. Keep getting these mixed up, like which one will do which. This is kind of confusing. But this relay is bad. So realistically, the board is fine. Relay is bad. So if we had a relay, we could replace this thing and get this fixed, instead of having to replace this whole module. So I kind of feel like I might have some of these relays at my shop. So I'm going to go to the shop and take this board with me and see if I've got some of these. And if we can, we're going to fix this thing and get it back together. Alright, so I got the board here, got some new relays ordered. These are the exact same ones that are on here. And if you remember, we know that this one and this one is their lock and unlock relays. These two are most likely window motors. This one right here is different. So if this was the same as these, I would probably replace those also, but I didn't want to have to wait on these relays because these are going to take a lot longer to get for some reason. But I'm just going to do the locks and unlock relays on this one. This is still out of the driver door, and we're going to fix this one, put it back in the car, and see if this one now works. And if it does, then I'll go through the passenger door and fix it as well. So knowing that these are our relays here, I can kind of look at one of the new ones here to determine what pins are what on here that I need to desolder. So if I look at this, I see 3 pins and 2 pins. So I've got 2 pins and 3 pins. So this is going to be one relay, and then the same here, 3 pins, 2 pins. So those are going to be the pins that I need to heat up with a soldering iron and desolder so I can get the relays off of there. There's also like a little bit of a gel coat on these. So I just take my tweezers, you can use anything, and just kind of scratch at the solder a little bit. Let me see if I can get you in here where you can see what I'm talking about. See how I'm just kind of scratching at the solder to break loose the gel coat just a little bit. It doesn't take a whole lot. You just want to break it loose, and then the soldering iron can do the rest of the work. We're going to be cleaning all this up anyway, so it'll give us a good spot for the soldering iron to start. And of course we want to put just a little bit of flux on here. This is going to help the solder kind of start to melt and flow, and it's also going to help push off the rest of that glue and help us clean it off. This is going to be a really big pad. So you can see my solder here is connected to this whole big trace here. So this one's going to take a while to heat up. I might actually have to use 2 soldering irons to heat this up and get it to melt to where I can suck that solder off of there. So I'm going to save it for last. This one's probably going to be on this top trace here, so it's probably going to heat sink a whole lot also. Sometimes you can add some fresh solder, and that'll also help get things going. Use a good old solder sucker here. This didn't get all of it. There's a little bit on this side still, or it might just be some of that junk. Yep, it's some of the junk. So you can see how that one sucked all that solder out of there, and that'll, for the most part, probably slide right out without any issues. So I'm just going to go through, that's my process. I'm going to go through all 10 of these pins, do that same thing. Alright, so there we go. I got both of the relays took off of there. Got my holes cleaned out. I may have just a little tiny bit of solder still left on that one I need to clean off, but for the most part just went over with some solder wick, some flux to try to suck out any extra of that solder I could. And this conformal coating junk is all over this, or silicone spray, whatever this coating is they put on here, kind of making a mess, getting everywhere. So you want to make sure that you get all that cleaned out of the holes really well. And I'm just using a little pick to just kind of poke around in there and make sure I get all that stuff out of there. And now we're ready to basically solder on our fresh new relays. And yeah, I've got my old relays over here. You can tell where I grabbed them with some pliers to pull them off. One of them broke a little bit. Yep, that one broke a little bit. Basically I was just grabbing them, kind of wiggling on them as I was watching for the pins to move. If the pins wouldn't move, I'd basically just take my soldering iron and just hold on to the pin on the opposite side as I kind of wiggled. Not very easy to do, but you get used to it. So there's my two old relays right there. So those are going in the garbage. We're going to put some fresh new ones on here, and you just line up the pins, of course, and stick them in the holes like so, and we'll solder those back on there. So you can see the pins sticking through the holes here. So there's 5 of them right there, and we'll solder those on and then do the same with the other one. I of course like to start out with just a little bit of flux down on the pads and kind of down in the hole just a little bit, and that's going to let the solder flow through the hole and really absorb in there really good. So we want that entire cavity filled with solder basically. So we'll just, you're wanting to heat one side of the terminal and apply solder to the other side, and that's what's going to let it flow. And I'll give it a couple like heat cycles to see if it flows down into the hole. If my solder like basically flows through the bottom and is flat on the top, it means I need to add a little bit more solder. So like that one. Let's see if I can get you guys in here. See how that went like down flat, whereas this one's kind of like a volcano basically, like a mountain. You want it like that, where it's flat like that. You need to add a little more solder to give it the proper amount. So there we go. That's good now. and I'm heating up the terminal pin itself along with the pad. You want to get both of them heated basically at the same time. And when I'm actually applying the solder, I'm actually applying it to the tip of the pin and letting it flow into the hole. So maybe I'll do this next one under the microscope and you might be able to see a little better. Alright, so here we are under the microscope. You can see our 3-pin side on this side, and then there's our 1 and 2 there. So 2 pins there, 3 on this side. And like I said, I like to start out with some flux on the holes. And then I'll get the soldering iron. I'm going to have to probably put something under this to kind of help hold, because I'm going to need another hand to hold the solder and stuff. Let's see if I can get this done. Trying to get it to where you guys can see under the microscope and do this all at once is going to be a little hard, but I think I've got it. So you want to try to press that relay up tight. So as you can see here, I'm melting the old solder in the flux, and we're going to stick this to the opposite side of the terminal here. You're going to see that flow down into the hole. There we go. And I don't know if you can see that, but that is flat. That one needs more solder. Let me do another one here so you can see a comparison, because that one actually did really good about going flat. I'm doing the same thing, just feeding the solder into the terminal tip, the pin. Yeah, that one's good. Let me try to clean that off a little bit and let you see the difference between the two there. Just a little spray, a little bit of toothbrush action here. There, you can kind of see how this has got like a healed edge to it, basically like a little mountain. See how that one looks flat? You can get both of those in the same picture there. So this is what you're wanting. If it's flat, that means more solder can go into that. You can almost see the outline of the hole there. So let's add some more solder to that, and I'll do the rest of these here. Alright, so we'll give these guys one final inspection after giving it a cleaning. This is the one I needed to add a little bit more solder to. It's now got a good little heel to it. That one looks good. That one's good, good. That one's good. That one might actually have just a tiny bit too much solder. You see how it's almost like a ball, like it's rounded here. So that one's actually got a little bit too much solder, but it'll be okay. We'll go with it. It's not drastically bad. That one looks good. That one's good. Good there. That one I don't really like. I think this one I didn't get enough heat saturation into it, and we didn't get it to flow all the way to the edge, or this, I didn't get this coating cleared off good enough. So this one here, I'm going to actually reflow that one. It would probably be okay, but I'm going to reflow it just because I'm here. Why not? I like to see that edge be even all the way around. So of course to reflow, we're gonna add just a little bit of flux to it. And just let some heat saturate into this. We're looking for that whole mound of solder to liquefy. There we go, getting there. Yeah, there we go. So, much better now. Might can take this one and might can draw a little bit of the solder off of this one. Got a little off of it, I believe. Let's put some flux on there. Still got just a little bit too much, but that'll be good. So there you have it. I'll clean this off again, but 2 new door lock unlock relays put on there. Get this cleaned up, put back together. We'll go put it in the car and see if she works. All right, here we are back at it. What do you guys think? Did we fix this thing? Yeah, it's not happy about that. There we go. Okay. Wasn't happy about that I locked the doors when I left and set the alarm. So let's get this thing plugged back up. And if I can remember which way these went. Let's see. Oh, red. I guess it'd help if I paid attention to colors. Okay. Now, I really don't remember if this one was locked or unlocked that didn't work, but... Ooh. Okay, let's see. There we go. Yep. There's one down. Gotta take apart the other one and see how that one goes. If it's all the same, then I'm not gonna refilm all that again. But if there's something different, I'll definitely pick the camera back up. So if there's nothing after this, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you guys later.